What's up, guys? This is world champion wrestler Stevan Micic here, and with the college wrestling season already underway and the highly anticipated national duels returning back after years of anticipation this weekend, I'm going to be reacting to some of my favorite NCAA college wrestling moments and matches. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn notification bells on. Let's go. So we're starting off here strong with a super match. Me wrestling Sebastian Rivera, the #1 125-pounder versus the #1 33-pounder in the country in the year of 2019. This was a dual meet in Michigan. I remember wrestling this match. Like, honestly, I thought I was going to get a forfeit. I had a cold. Little backstory on this one. I remember just like looking up at my parents in the stadium. They were just like, Rivera's warming up in the back, and he ended up bumping up, coming back, and he wanted all the smoke. So I was like, let's get it. I mean, Rivera was always quick and very slick, very technical wrestler. I mean, he's an Olympic bronze medalist here in the Paris Olympics last year. So, I mean, just crazy how our careers have transcended. A nice little arm drag I hit on him here. The one thing I noticed about this match, with being a bigger guy than him, you know, him coming up to wrestle me at 33 and bump up for the dual meet, was on top. Because I felt like my top wrestling was always like pretty solid. I could ride pretty well, but like this one, you know, having a cold and everything like that, I remember like not exerting too much energy on top because of the size. Oh, I love that position. I mean, it's one of my signature shuck buys here. But what was nice about that one was Rivera defended really well. So obviously, like, he shoots, I get the front headlock, and as most guys, as I'm starting to react and come up to that front head to hit the shuck, Sebastian stands up to his feet so I can't get like behind him. But it allows me to fall into a single leg. I drilled this, I worked this a lot. I still do. It was so clean. Amazing, amazing shot there. One of my favorites. One of my favorite takedowns in all college right there. The craziest thing is that Rivera got so big after college, where I was a 33 and he was a 25 here. He ended up wrestling 33, then 41, and then wrestling 65 kilos for Puerto Rico. And I ended up cutting down to his weight, 125. So it was like for freestyle for Serbia at 57 kilos at Worlds. So, you know, we both had successful years. 2023, I won the gold medal at the World Championships at 57 kilos, and he ended up taking second. He got silver to Musakayev at 65 kilos. We kept getting better and improving both after college. So I really love how Rivera, you know, we both improved. And then we actually, I think in 2022, end of the year, we actually had a training camp together. So the double knee pads were crazy back there. Oh my goodness. Both of us actually had double knee pads, but the double bubbles from me was atrocious. I don't know what I was thinking. I always had my right knee had a little bit of an issue that season. I always was kind of a guy on bottom who just took his time, slow, composed, worked into my sit-outs, and then ended up escaping. But Sebastian rode really, really well, too. I mean, he's an East Coast kid. He knows how to ride. But on the feet, I mean, it was just, I had a blast. Oh, and then Rivera, that's like one of his most, you know, infamous ankle pick shots that he hits. And a nice little cross pick from there for me. Oh, that was nice. Like I said, I just hit a lot of high-level attacks in this match. On a high-level wrestler, and I think that's probably why this has got to go first in my matches, because I really put on a show. I really put on a technique clinic with my attacks, showing how versatile I am to both sides of the body, from the front head, from my chain wrestling, and my offense, because, you know, that's kind of always something that I've always been really great at with my wrestling. So, but honestly, right then, like I would say, one of the biggest things with college wrestling, you know, is this probably right here, that 2018 to 2019 stretch. Even though I didn't win the NCAAs, I had an injury that year, but I beat everybody. I gave one takedown all year. But I'll say one thing is, like, regardless of anything that happens, you know, that's just wrestling. That's college, so it doesn't really matter. But an awesome finish. I wish 3 points were 3 points back here, but just 2-point takedowns. So it's just kind of crazy. I think, like, the way that I just remember being so hot this year. So you'll see for my next match that I'm going to choose. I remember trying to get this major so bad, but I was exhausted. I don't know why I let him off. I think I would have gotten it if I would have held him down, but I thought I could get another takedown. I didn't realize at the point, but I get close right here. Look at that beautiful little windmill. Not enough time, and I don't get the takedown. If I had one more takedown. But all respect to Sebastian Rivera on that match. That was fire for him to do that. Stuff like that makes exciting for the sport, builds character, and it creates interesting rivalries. All right, guys, my second match, I've got me versus Luke Pletcher. Luke Pletcher is probably my biggest college rival. We wrestled like for 6 times. I was 5-1 against him. He beat me the very first time at Cliff Keen in a very close match. And then after that, I beat him in the duel for Ohio State. I beat him in Big Ten finals. I beat him in the NCAA semifinals to make the finals in 2018. And then this year, this is the first matchup of the following year. After beating him in the NCAA semifinals, we are now Michigan versus Ohio State, one of the biggest dual rivalries in the country, if not the biggest, college rivalry. I just remember these were my favorite duels when it was Michigan versus Ohio State. Like the atmosphere, wherever you are, at Michigan, at Ohio State. And I just love that rivalry. And I just love, there's no feeling like a college duel. I just got to say that much. Like a college wrestling duel, with especially 2 big teams going at it, is just a feeling. And I think that's my favorite part of college. And if you guys want to watch the national duels for yourself, make sure to tune into Flow Wrestling. They've got the first 27 duels there, streaming at flowwrestling.org. And then the finals on ESPN. I'm going to be watching it. Make sure you guys are ready to as well. Ohio State does not mess around here. Bringing the sparks, bringing the lightning. And Luke was just a really hard wrestler to wrestle. He was a very savvy folk styler. Short, stocky, could defend well, do all the basics really well. But he was tactical. Not many college guys, I felt like, are kind of, some of them are just go, go, go mentality, or they're really technical. But Luke was able to kind of just stay so positionally sound all the time, play the edge, get a good reversal, do the job to ride you out for the period, and he always did such a good job. I mean, I felt bad for him. He was the favorite to win the NCAAs the year that COVID happened. He won Big Tens against Nick Lee. So, I mean, he is an extremely high-level wrestler. But this duel, we've always had pretty close matches for the most part. I mean, just beating somebody more than twice in a row is tough. But this was match 4. This would be for 4 in a row. But I just remember making some adjustments here with my fakes and knowing how Pletcher reacts. I remember watching this. So this first takedown, I just remember being probably my favorite one here. I used to a lot more elbows than I even do now. But fake to that front headlock, and I was able to get Pletcher in a cradle here. I missed the cradle here, but I'm able to get the leg Turk. Oh. That's nice right there. Swipes all day, baby. But honestly, guys, I think for me, like I told you earlier from my first match, I never was really a big top wrestler. Me always being a freestyle first kind of guy, a guy on neutral. What really helped me excel at college was my takedown to turn, the transition, like the leg Turk, was huge for me. It was probably my favorite thing to do because it was able to allow me to get into a position like this where I was able to get back points from my takedown. Instead of starting like referee's position, I probably usually wasn't getting any turns. Maybe a tilt here and there, but for the most part, I was scoring most of my top points from my takedown, like the leg Turk. Which I think a lot of people kind of overlook a little bit when they think about wrestling. But this is a step from high school to the next level when it comes to college wrestling. You got to make sure you do these kind of things in the practice room, and something that I always worked on. So it allowed me to transition really well. And here I was able to go from the Turk to a folded leg figure 4, and I just know this hurts so bad. I'm not even sure I got back points for this here. But, I mean, this just looks painful. Going up 6-0, much less now 7-0, is tough one in the first period to come back from, especially when 2-point takedowns at the time were it, and 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. I mean, it's difficult. He is locked in. I'm so excited. I'll keep watching Michigan this year. It just takes, an ebbs and flow a little bit of, each lineup. And after me, Miles Amin, Mason Paris, Pantelio, Logan Massa, just to name a few, just kind of pass on. Now it's and graduate. It takes time to rebuild that team and kind of get some guys back. But now, you got a lot of high level guys. But that knee pull was one I always felt like I hit on Pletcher. I'll replay that again. But I always felt like this was kind of one of my favorite shots. But I think he kind of knew it was coming here. That little snap down to front headlock cradle position really threw him off his game from how he was defending. And I was just on fire here with my offense. And another arm Turk position. They're never going to call it up. A Turk, it's going to be all day. They're going to just keep me on top here working. As long as I'm working, I'm trying to get back points. End time, third period. Going into the third period, 9-0. Luke was always a guy working toward that edge. Let's see. Now, I haven't seen this match in years. But I remember it like it was yesterday. Yep. Starfish position. That's how I have to defend. But in college, my leg defense was so much more shoddy than it is now, and how much I've had to improve my leg defense from college. But, I mean, that was a great example of what I could do. But consistently to find my defense, that was the tough thing. And that was definitely a big stamp win for me, for Michigan. Got the win in the dual meet away at Ohio State. Michigan, bleed blue, bleed maize and blue all day, baby. Go blue, let's go. You guys know I saved the best for last. I couldn't leave it out of this. I know you guys were waiting for it, so if you watch this, you deserve it. Me versus Austin Desanto, 2018 NCAA quarterfinals. And I remember coming out hot with that nice shot right there, getting the leg turk, and avenging a loss that I had taken earlier in the year to Austin Desanto. I actually wrestled him at that same tournament I wrestled Luke Pletcher at and lost consolations. I remember having Luke Pletcher, losing to him, and I was just so consumed about losing this match that I kind of blew it in early in the season and just really down on myself, and I knew I just had to go wrestle. I look in the side and I see a guy from Desanto just kind of hitting his headgear all over, jumping around, going crazy, screaming, yelling, having his coaches slap him, everything. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know who this guy is, whatever. But I go out there, pretty much get blast firemen's off the whistle, and I'm down. I think I end up losing like 21-10 or 21-9, something insane like that. And he just kind of hit me without me being ready or anything like that. And regardless, Desanto always made you be ready for his matches against him. He has first match wins against me, RBY, Suriano, Seth Gross. I mean, he has beaten a lot of high-level wrestlers over the years in college, which, we end up coming and beating him later on in college. But the fact that he's able to do this, because you really have to respect his strength and that fireman's carry. But I remember I came out here, I was game plan, I knew what to do, and I knew how to handle it. I used my mental, and I knew I was a better technical wrestler. I just had to handle business. So, and I get the same position again, a leg turk, guys. My favorite, my pretty much my bread and butter on top here. I get the 4 count right on the edge, and I just remember Desanto freaking out here because he did not like this at all. I was looking for the fall bad. I just remember when I got him out of bounds there, he was just flustered, and I really think that just right there kind of just fried the match for him mentally. He was just not in his zone, not in his element, and he was not thinking straight after that those back points right there. Desanto gets 1. Looking for offense. You can see he's starting to kind of spaz out. I stay calm, stay giving him a short left arm because I know he wants to dig his hands. And literally, not just me, you've seen Vito's arm, Seth Gross's arm, and my arm. He's just shredded it up if you've ever wrestled Austin Desanto. And after the mat, if he's got tape on his fingers, it will literally rip your arm apart. So, yeah, my bottom here was pretty good for the most part. I always was solid on bottom. Like I said, I took my time, got out, but Desanto wants to get me back on his feet. We know what he's looking for here. Nice little defense to my front headlock. And nice, again, like I said, that shuck to that single leg is there all day for me, especially be able to get the guy to stand up from that. It really helps me get to that offense. And like I said, Desanto is really disheveled, has a hard time getting up here. But, because of his injury time, or whatever the time they took, I got to choose bottom again. He starts getting, after this point, he starts getting rough. This is pre-Iowa Desanto here, so he was a little more unhinged than he was when he went to Iowa. Iowa definitely was a good fit for him, honestly. For his temperament, for his style of wrestling, I think it definitely was a good choice that he went to Drexel went to Iowa. And he's seeing success now in freestyle. He's starting to find his groove a little bit more. He tried his hand in Greco. I think he just won the Bill Farrell a couple weeks ago, or last weekend actually. So he's starting to figure it out and get a little bit more averse with the freestyle scene. So we'll see how he does this year. Him just getting grippy, digging hand, elbow, everything. All right, and now the last period. This is where stuff starts to get wild. With how wild he was, it also made things really difficult to try to keep attacking because he kind of unleashed a little bit more like chaotic and craziness in this part of the match. He's down by a lot of points. He needs to score, so kind of made things a little bit more difficult to try to score. But you can see me even grabbing my hand. He's peeling his hand and fingers on my arm. Oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. But stay disciplined on his left arm, his shooting hand. He's a lefty. I'm thinking 1-point push out. But it's folk style. And goes for a club. That was crazy. And I get a point for that club, I believe. But he grabs literally the straps of my headgear and pulls it off my head. And then tries to double me after the whistle. Which is crazy because I feel that's like an insane clip right there for him to do. But what precedes this is what will always be remembered today in college wrestling history and world wrestling history, in my opinion. And you know already what's going to happen. The cartwheel Kimura, infamous. It actually did not hurt at all. That was insane. Oh, bro. Dude. Insane. But honestly, crazy match. I had to add it in there. That match advanced me into the semifinals where I wrestled Luke Pletcher and beat him to advance to the finals in 2018 in Cleveland NCAA Championships. But yeah, those are some of my favorite college matches. I'm happy you guys got to watch me react to them. You know, I'm so excited for Michigan's wrestling team this year to see what Coach Borma, KJ, Debo, Josh Strella can push the boys to greatness here. Hopefully have an awesome season. And watching them compete in the national duels this upcoming weekend. Flow Wrestling is actually streaming the first 27 matches, 27 duels, and then the finals will be streamed on ESPN. Make sure you guys go check that out. I'll be watching. I hope you guys are too. Let's go, baby. Make sure to subscribe. World champs and everything we do, baby. Let's go.